What's up, y'all? It's Cam. We're down in Lawton, Oklahoma today. I'm with my buddy Alex Visloski.
Yeah.
And his partner. What's your partner's name?
Antonio George.
They've got 57 units, you said?
Yeah,
roughly?
right about. We just sold about 17 off. At our peak, we were around 74 units.
24 years old. Pretty much owns this market down here, which is what we're going to talk about today. And then you own a title company too.
Yeah, so we have a partnership with a title company. That's actually the reason we bought this building. We never sought out commercial, at least for, we weren't planning to touch anything commercial until like 10 years down the line. But then we had an opportunity to partner up with the girls who are running, and we got this listing from Johnny Owens. He's the big commercial guy down here, and we were able to buy it for $220,000. Put in about $100,000 worth of work. The girls started using it right away for doing closings. And then after it was complete, we've now leased out this side to a bail bondsman for $3,000 a month.
Nice.
And then this side, it's just the title company. They pay us $1,100 a month. We pay ourselves basically. And then we have a haul off and waste removal company renting one office for $450 a month. Then the rest of the offices, we're actually having a hard time getting rented. We had them at $750 each, and we've come down to $450 each. And we might play around messing with a different commercial leasing agent that specializes in rent by the office. But so far, I mean, it's as is rented. That's like about a 15 cap, 3,000, 1,100 plus 450. So as is, it's doing all right. And then this place next door, we bought about 2 weeks ago. We bought it with we financed it up front. We secured financing before buying it. This place we bought with a refi on about 4 houses, about 3 houses. We refinanced, purchased this place. That place we secured financing before we bought it. We put down about $40,000. And then the rest was financed, $190,000 purchase price. Oh yeah, there's a lot of that.
That's awesome, dude. I love it already.
Yeah, it's fun.
This is like my first time in
I'm telling you, it's
Lawton's a sub-market off of Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
What's your guys' population down here?
About 92,000.
Okay.
It fluctuates with the base. It actually went up a little bit. I was driving out here on Sunday. It was probably about 10 miles worth of military buses.
Yeah.
Because it's, stuff going on in Iran. It's his artillery range. So it's been a little bit of an influx. And so out of nowhere, we'll get higher rental demand. That's like not...
That makes sense.
The seasonality here is not the same as other markets where it's like, okay, summertime, you got a lot of people moving, and then wintertime, no one's moving. Here, it just depends on the base's activity. So like we could have random months, all of a sudden have a bunch of tenants. But for the commercial stuff, this place, it is actually being rented from the county. They use it for storage.
Oh, really?
So they just, because Lawton's one of the few courts that still has to like keep paper records on everything.
Oh, wow.
So they keep as much as they can in there, and then they rent this place out. $2,000 a month. Our mortgage is about $1,300 a month. Taxes, insurance, like another $200.
So it makes money.
Yeah, it does well.
Badass.
Yeah, they don't do anything. I mean, like I don't even have keys to it because they only it's storage. So yeah, really low maintenance.
Buy that direct to seller?
Yeah, actually, no. So it was Johnny Owens. It was like a pocket listing Johnny Owens had because he got us this place.
Yeah.
And he's an old timer, so he knows like everybody who owns everything in this town. And we'd been talking to him about that place for probably about 6 months to a year, and we weren't in the position cash wise to buy it for a while. And he was great to us because he just kept the seller like interested through the holidays. He got offers actually from other people, but Johnny Owens did a great job keeping him, waiting for us to be ready. So when we were ready cash-wise, we were able to buy it. So yeah, good deal with us. I can show you guys the inside.
Let's check it out.
Yeah.
So we're going to check out Alex and his partner have these commercial units, and then of course a bunch of single family.
Yeah.
So we're going to check out some of the single family today as well.
And this is Candace with Red River.
Hey Candace, how are you?
Yeah. We're just going to rip through here real quick.
So I'm assuming you close all your deals here.
Yes, we do. So we got this is where we use it for our closing, just basic conference room.
Nice.
This place before we bought it, carpet, very dated. It was being used by attorneys.
Yeah.
We probably were here for 30 years without updating it. All we did.
12 by 24 tile?
Yeah, 12 by 24 tile.
Tile over LVP. More labor, right?
Yeah, no, so it was carpet, and we just ripped out the carpet, and it was like, what's that really, really sticky stuff underneath the carpet? We had get it all scraped up.
Like the glue.
Yeah, the glue, and then we just laid this down. Yeah, we left the trim. Didn't have to do anything with
What's
that.
the square footage on this place?
7,000 square feet. Yeah.
Are you guys hard surface 12 by 24 tile all throughout?
Except for next door. Next door, we put LVP because we knew that it was going to lease out separately. But just painted the ceiling tiles.
Dude, I like the black ceiling tiles.
Yeah.
Like, that looks good.
Yeah, that wasn't my idea. It was my partner's suggestion. And yeah, I think it looks good. If it was all white, it'd be too sterile.
It'd feel like an office.
Yeah.
This feels a little bit more.
Yeah, it's clean. And actually, one of the reasons we got such a good price was because of the basement. They thought that it was a aquifer running underneath.
What?
They thought it was, and so they had really bad. That's why they have this sign. We don't. I mean, if you want, we can go down there. Yeah, I can show you. So what they thought.
We don't deal with a bunch of basements. Dang.
Yeah. So
it's big.
What they thought it was, there was always about like a quarter to like an 1/8 inch of water down here. The owner thought that it was just permanently like that.
Yeah.
And so they always ran dehumidifiers and had mold issues constantly.
Yeah.
And they just assumed it was because they assumed that was just the way it was, nothing about it. And we negotiated a huge reduction. It was like $30,000 off the purchase price because they just thought it was how it was. Turns out it was just a leak in the supply line to the building. It was a $3,000 fix. We had to dig up the sidewalk. But that fixed that, and then we got a sump pump running.
You just run that full time?
It's not supposed to be running full time, but
it is running right now.
Right now, yeah. And then with these 2 dehumidifiers, and now it's just dry. But
dude, it's super dry in here. I'm impressed.
But it was permanently wet, and so we got like a crazy quote for the mold remediation and all that, and it scared the seller. But we got lucky after the fact. Got a better plumber out here, and it was just a quick fix. And so now we can use this for storage. So it's great.
Dude, that's all. Yeah, this is a lot of storage down here.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to have this up in the city.
Yeah. Yeah. And this actually used to be a bus stop. So this whole building used to be a bus station. So that's why you have that weird curb.
Yeah.
Where the shelves, like they're elevated, because actually was a bus curb. And so.
Yeah. So we're in the second unit now, or is this still?
So the second unit is over there, but I can't go in because it's the bail bondsman. They already moved in and everything.
You got a tenant in there.
But actually, fun story about all this stuff. Our property manager tried to do a furnished listing with like a commercial construction company that flies people out, and they paid for 3 months up front. They moved in. They didn't like the place because we did a pretty cheap, crappy remodel. So they gave us the 3 months of rent. Then they left, and we were stuck with all the furniture. So we brought it here. But
so
yeah,
here it is.
Yeah, so it's a kind of reminder of our failed attempt at furnished rentals. But the rest of the units, these are the ones we're renting out for $450 a unit.
Okay. This is like a co-work.
Yeah, kind of like a co-working space. And there's actually a shower here. So
that
comes a shower and internet.
Yeah.
And then front lobby area, of course. And then we'll probably just be having to provide that to them as a conference space. But we're waiting to see what the demand is, because right now the one person we have leasing these doesn't really need one. Waste disposal. And then we're keeping this for ourselves. This is what I was talking about. We're going to, try to use this a bit more for long form educational content. It's just, we got to get some build out in here, but.
Dude, I like your whiteboard.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a one up of my whiteboard that we got up at the office.
But that's what the plan is with this room. So we're keeping this one to ourselves.
Yeah.
We're going to get some paneling, something. But this is our game plan to start, making more educational stuff that's longer. So, but yeah, we were going to lease this, but we decided.
Which you got an Instagram that's doing really well.
Yeah.
I just checked. You're up like 3,000 or 4,000 subscribers this week, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's just posting every morning pretty much. That's my routine. The Instagram, to me, like, I feel like your audience can grow quicker, but they're less likely to convert into deals, referrals, like actual. There are a lot of tire kickers. A lot of tire kickers on Instagram. So that's why we made the school community, because it's a bit of a filter. Like if you're willing to enter your info and like engage in that.
A little bit more serious.
More serious, yeah. So we'll see how it goes. We've got a few deals and a few buyers for our wholesale stuff.
Nice.
Through Instagram. So
you guys do a lot of wholesale deals.
We do, yeah.
How many did you guys do last year?
About 92.
That's impressive.
Yeah, 92.
How's this year going?
We're definitely gonna beat that, because realtors actually have been a nice supply of free deals
25% of our deals last
from
year came from
realtors.
realtors. Yeah.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have looked.
We wish we tapped into it earlier because it's so nice, both for the seller leads from realtors and buyers. Because like here we are thinking we have every buyer imaginable, and we're doing a deal right now. The realtor's gonna make 10 grand. We're making 20, just off of a buyer they had. And you know, we were a little bit arrogant in thinking we already knew all the buyers in our market. And then here's a realtor who's been here for, you know, five plus years, you know, not too long, but he still has better buyers than us. So both of us are benefiting. And that's the thing we've been talking about a lot lately is wholesalers and realtors butting heads and thinking they're the enemy. But if they would just like communicate, both parties would be making way more money, because there's certain deals that make sense for a wholesaler, certain that make for a realtor.
Well, you guys do shit up front, and I think that's different. Like you run your business like an actual business. I like working with wholesalers, but then you get some of the wholesalers, like for example, one of the guys on my team the other day gets sent a deal from a wholesaler. So at $65K, your first guy to look at it. Oh, perfect. So he goes out there. And the wholesaler is like, hey, will you send me some photos? So he's like, yeah, I'll shoot you some photos. Comes back, calls the wholesaler afterwards. He's like, we're good to go. 65. Oh man, we looked at the photos. That deal's in a lot better shape than what we thought. So
that's just bad.
I'm like, dude, really? You know? And so anyways, you put it under contract to 75. They wanted 85, and it's like, meet in the middle. But it's those types of things that piss everybody off. You know what I mean?
Because it's also like, almost conditioning them to how they're going to treat you on the next deal. Like if you're a buyer and you go to a wholesaler and every single time they send you a deal, they're going to be a hassle on price. Like you're going to be less likely to trust them and take their call. But like for us with our buyers, like in the beginning, if you're a new wholesaler, you're going to get beat up by your buyers a lot. Like they're going to lowball you, etc. But if you keep showing up with good deals and being honest, eventually they're like, okay, this is a good wholesaler. I want to maintain this relationship. If they say they want this price, I'm only going to fight this price if it actually is an issue. If it's a good price, like then they just take it. And so we have found in time, just treating our buyers good, good business, it makes it so where deals move quicker and there's less negotiation, and it's just a lot more efficient because there's none of that back and forth and like distrust.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing this for?
3 years, but like we did it for like a year and a half while we were in college, and so it's kind of like part-time, but we've really been full-time now about 2 years.
That's awesome. You guys have bought a lot of deals.
Yeah, we got
3 years.
Bringing in partners has been the key.
So you guys use other people's money?
Basically, yeah. But we're moving away. We're trying to move away from that.
No, I think that's great, dude. I don't. And I think I could have bought a lot more real estate. I've just I never was comfortable with it. Yeah.
Well, like our portfolio, we've never paid ourselves a penny out of refi or rental income.
Just continue.
We pay our paycheck out of wholesale income. And now title company stuff.
Nice.
But we haven't taken a penny out of rental income or refis, just because when you're growing really quickly,
dude,
you can't, like, there's no cash left at the end of the month. You got to pay because we prioritize growth and we had access to a lot of other people's money. We had to do things like hire an assistant, hire an accountant, hire a general contractor, because it was the only way to grow. And there's price to having all those people.
Yeah, for sure.
We probably would have pocketed more money, like, if we ran everything ourselves, but we'd be limited because, like, if I was out here being our own GC, being our own accountant, my own assistant, of course we'd be taking home more, but it'd be harder to break through the next level.
You'd be doing everything too. So,
exactly. Yeah.
So you don't have a business if you don't have systems.
Exactly.
And stuff like that. Well, dude, let's one more thing on this building. What'd you guys pay for this again?
$220 purchase price. Nice. It was about $100,000 remodel. We resealed the roof. We didn't redo the roof. We did like
TPO roof.
Yeah.
TPO is expensive.
Yeah. So. Well, I think I can't remember exactly the material we ended up getting, but it was basically like a version of like a real good Flex Seal that's white.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Painted it all because it wasn't in terrible condition, but it needed a little bit of updating. So that's what we did to the roof. We got to leave the HVAC system.
Nice.
And the rest was just,
Cosmetics,
pretty much.
You guys kept all the woodwork, it looks like.
Yeah, we did. We were going to paint it black, but we ended up not. It looks fine. And then the front was the other most expensive part. Okay. We actually
the front looks good.
We thought, so it was all, what's that called? It was all before it. What's the stuff called? It's like, it's not plaster. It's what's the word?
I'm drawing a blank. Like what they use in like Arizona. And...
Yeah, it's like that white kind of crumbly stuff. I can't remember the word. It was
blank. Somebody will know in the comments.
Yeah,
it let us know what you...
Yeah, but we thought basically there was real brick underneath it. So we started ripping it off. Turns out it was just veneer brick, and it was like incomplete veneer brick. So then we had to rip off all of that incomplete veneer brick, support and like fill in the parts that were missing on the front, and then put on new veneer brick, and then paint and do the signage.
So you re-brick the whole front.
Yeah, it was just veneer, but like we were, because we poked a little hole through the what was on the outside, and we saw brick, and we were like, oh my gosh, like we just hit the lottery. It's all brick. Ripped it off, and it was like little patches of veneer. So that front cost us probably between 20 and 30,000, and it was like every step of the way it was a little bit more expensive than we thought, because we kept thinking, you know, we were good, but then we weren't. So and then the sign was about $2,000, and the lights were $3,000.
Nice.
So
yeah, those signs aren't cheap.
Yeah, no, it was a local guy. He does a lot of stuff here, and it took him a while, but it looks good.
Nice. Well, let's head to one of the properties.
Yeah. So
which one do you want to go to first?
So for our market, this is more like A class real estate, and this is actually really new for us. We've historically just been in the rough parts of town that like no one wants to buy in. We've either refinanced those places or we've sold them off, and we're trying to do less houses but more stuff like this, because the refinances go smoother, shorter seasoning periods because they're all worth over $100,000, way easier on our property manager, and just we sleep easier at night owning more stuff like this rather than the like, you know, crap places in the bad parts of town.
Just a nicer asset to hold too. This is what I've been moving more towards as well in the city, but it's hard to find. What is this, like a 3-2?
It's a 4-2 actually.
4-2, yeah. It's harder to find these brick homes 4-2 that are like actually cash flow.
Yeah, I mean, not in Lawton.
Yeah, that's great. What'd you guys buy this for?
89,000.
89.
That's because of Antonio. Antonio's, he's the one who lowballs. I think they probably wanted. Yeah, I think they probably wanted about 115.
Okay.
And he's been speaking to them for months and months and months. His secret, I mean, he'll talk about it more, the follow-ups. So most of our deals that we get that are fantastic, a lot of times they're people we've been speaking to for like a year, or sometimes even more than a year.
That's where all the good deals come from.
It's a fault in like you having the relationship. We've literally even flown people out to Oklahoma so that they can like grab belongings. I've personally gotten a U-Haul to like move off stuff.
Wow.
So the relationship part, but that's how we got such a good deal in this place, because he'd been speaking to him for a long time. And we got it for 89, and the ARV, from what we calculated, is over 230. Dang. We estimated 185 we're happy with. Yeah. But in this area, there's places selling over 230.
Wow.
So I'll show the remodel. But yeah, we're very close to being done.
So, and you guys burr everything?
Burr. Yeah, I mean, so unless there's some stuff that the appraisals didn't come back very good. And refinancing.
So you buy hard, or you buy with private money?
We've been just our first properties, like our first bundle of houses, we bought with other people's money. Okay. And those ones we have just refinanced and bought. So we haven't, any new properties we purchase, we only do it with refinance cash from previous houses. We haven't done anything of hard money yet. However, our DSCR lender is really pushing us to use more hard money, because we're already getting such good deals off market.
Are you willing to say who you use?
I'll shout her out. Trishelle with PRM.
Trishelle PRM.
Tell her Alex sent you, because we get a kickback.
There you go. Alex Visloski.
Yeah, but she does really great hard money.
Nice.
And if you have enough like experience, you can get 100% purchase price and remodel. So this place, when we bought it, there were actually folks living in here. They were like quarters, so like literally to the ceiling with stuff. We gave them a few days to get everything out. They got most of it. Backyard was filled with stuff. But all we've done in here, I don't know what the tenants were doing, but they already started ripping up the carpet. So it was super easy. Finished clearing out the rest of the carpet. LVP flooring. Total we spent on flooring for this house about $1,800 just from Home Depot. Normally we like to use Sutherland's, because they do like last year's supply, and you get like really cheap flooring. So about $1,800 on material in here.
What's the square footage of this?
It's probably about 1,400, I'd say. I think it was 12 or 14, because there's some square footage that doesn't show up on like PropStream or Zillow, because they converted some stuff. But yeah, between 12 and 1400. So we did the flooring, paint, and we've never done non-black and white, like kitchen interior.
Oh, really?
And so these cabinets, all we did was sand them and paint them. We normally always do white, but our GC was like, just to add a little color. And the appraisers, they love it so much more. Yeah. Granite, this quartz countertops we got for $1,900 material and labor. Crazy. Our guy who supplies this, who's getting us really good prices.
We see him too. That's the nice stuff.
Yeah. I don't know if we're going to get to use him again. He's in jail now. I don't know what for exactly.
Did you tell him about your bondsman? Your bail bondsman?
I need to connect him, but he might be getting deported actually. So he was hooking us up with the best granite, the best quartz. His son still runs it. We'll see if we can keep getting those deals. But like 1,900 quartz material labor, they cut it and everything. Fantastic. Cabinets, just sanding and painting. We didn't replace them. I mean, I don't know. Do you replace cabinets or?
No. If they're like this, we would keep this all day long.
Okay, yeah, because I get a little crap for like.
No, only time we're replacing them is if we can't keep them. But overall, dude, these cabinets are nicer than your builder grade that you're gonna get.
Exactly. Yeah. The ones that come with the place and with quality. Then the handles and stuff we just get on Amazon.
Yeah, same.
Super easy.
We do the same thing.
Lights on Amazon and all that. Real easy.
This is an interesting texture. I've never seen this texture before. You guys retextured in here, it looks like.
Yeah.
The GC did.
I don't remember if we retextured or not. I think they literally just took a sprayer to it and
maybe somebody else, maybe the previous owner or that.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I think I'll have to look at the photos, but we got a good price on the interior paint. Let's see. This is like the fourth bedroom that I think it wasn't counting as square footage.
So this is a converted garage.
So half the converted. This used to be a full garage. They just split the garage in half. So we still get this is the 1-car garage, and now it's like this is technically a bedroom because it has a closet and a window.
Yeah.
So it qualifies as a bedroom.
So when you bought it, you weren't even counting the square footage.
We weren't.
Okay, nice.
So,
that's
awesome. But the appraiser will count this as an extra bedroom, so it'll help us. And that's the backyard. But I'll show the rest of the house. Our GC actually brought up some guys from Dallas to do the bathrooms because out here labor is hard to find, and sometimes it's literally cheaper to bring guys from OKC or even Dallas. But I don't think we're gonna go with glass shower doors because what we're seeing. Tenants are just going to abuse it, and I really don't think it'll impact the appraisal that much. But everything again, vanity. This was $250 on Amazon.
Oh
yeah. So
I don't know if we've ever ordered vanity off.
We'll see how they do. I mean,
we have. Logan knows. I don't know.
I mean, it seems decent. Like,
and before anybody says anything, they're not done with this project because I know we're gonna.
We get done.
We're gonna get comments that are like, that thing doesn't look like it's done. Like this is. But you guys did kick off the refi.
We started it,
Learned that the hard way.
Well, because we would not even start the refi until after a place has a tenant in there, a few months of rent, because we just thought that's how you're supposed to do it. And all the local banks we spoke to, Bank First, Sovereign, they didn't even, most of them didn't even want to touch it if we had owned it for a year. There are a few we're getting to like 6-month seasoning periods. So we just thought that was how we had to do it. But our lender on these nicer places, it's easier to refinance. So this place, we don't have to wait on the seasoning period. Processing started. We'll order the appraisal probably Friday and try to get them out the next week. And then honestly, it'll probably take 7 days to close from there because they have everything processed.
That's pretty good.
So as long as underwriting approves everything, get our cash out. And actually, this refinance is going to pay down a lock. I don't know if this part, you can use your discretion, we won't include it, but we fucked up using our line of credit with Sovereign because there was a property we had in it that we basically sold seller finance, and one of the partners that was tied up on that basically wanted to keep that debt with Sovereign, so that way basically like Sovereign's in first position, seller position, us in second position, but it's basically taking debt on debt. Well, we went to renew the line of credit, they pulled title, saw that we deeded it to someone else. And then they're like,
you guys did a note mortgage on it.
Basically, yes.
Set up contract for deed.
Yes. And our DSCR lender told us to do contract for deed. And I didn't know anything about that. I was like, well, I mean, this makes sense because, okay, Sovereign's still in first position. And then basically our note with them. it made sense to us at the time, but then they renewed it, pulled the title, and told us it's due on sale because we violated the terms of the mortgage. And so that's what we're doing with this refinance.
That makes
paying
sense.
down. It's $94,000 is the release fee. Pay it down. We got 30 days, so that's what this refinance majority of it's going to. But yeah, pretty scary because if we didn't have this refinance, we'd go into foreclosure and lose that. So that was a hard lesson. It's very avoidable.
Well, it should happen. You know what I mean? Like the reality is, we can cut it if you want, but I think
that's good insight.
Yeah, it's a good story, and like it's not like you were intentionally trying.
No, we were just
hit the due on sale clause. You were just like, this is what we do.
Yeah.
So next time you do a contract for D,
now we know.
Yes, now you know.
So there's some other places that like we might do contract for D because we actually really like seller finance. Where like places that are like bleeding out, like we don't want to deal with it. We know won't sell to an investor or on market for the price we want.
Contract for D is a great route to get.
So we're gonna need to implement more of that.
Don't go doing contract for deed or note mortgage. It's different depending on your area. Oklahoma is very liberal. Other states are not. I don't even think they allow them in Texas. So if you guys are out of state, you need to consult a lawyer.
Yeah, for sure. This place, I mean, we'll still have, honestly, we'll probably have enough cash left over to maybe buy a at least purchase price on a house, but we'll see. Either way, getting our cash out is
So what's the total rehab you think this
we spent? So let me show you actually what we've spent so far. Our GC does this even for deals we wholesale. We make one of these. So we have a QB Casa scan. We do a QB Casa scan to have the exact square footage.
Nice.
And then this is actually what we send to buyers when we're wholesaling deals. So that way they can't make up some BS because it's a live bid. A thing we've been doing in our wholesaling when we're bringing out-of-state investors is actually doing their remodels. So that when we send them, this is purchase price, remodel, that's the concern we immediately get from out-of-state investors. So it's been improving our dispo if we actually give them the bid. So we basically estimated a $25,000 remodel with a $30,000 contingency.
And this is mostly just all cosmetics.
Basically, so that's the scope of work, and those are the prices. And Instagram gave me so much crap for the prices I was throwing out, saying like, "There's no way." But it's like, dude, it's Oklahoma. Like the labor is like y'all
you also do this full time. It's different. Owners calling up, versus you use this contractor every day.
Exactly. And then so where we're at right now, we got like 5 days to go, and we're at 22,000.
Nice.
And that's we keep track of the difference or anything we save, where we go over, where we go under, and then we keep track of our purchases in here. I was talking about bookkeeping. We did not used to do this. And it's why we're gonna have to pay probably about 20 grand to get our taxes done for 2025 because there's so many billable hours of them going through every remodel, every credit card. So now we keep track of it like this: every Amazon payment, wire, etc.
We do the same, dude. It's tough though. Like when you're growing quick, you
just want to buy deals. You don't want to think about it.
That's one of the downsides. Like for people that are wanting to go from 0 to 78 deals, like your books are probably gonna be screwed up.
But
like there's no way around it. But anyways, I would get ahead of it if you can, because I've had the same issue. And we're paying a decent amount for our taxes and catching up on books. And I had a full-time CPA. They just didn't get the job done. They didn't stay on top of it.
We had the same issue. We were real stupid, and we thought the right move when we were really growing is just hire an in-house accountant. We were paying this guy $8,000 a month.
Holy
crap. So here's another thing. We refinanced and we were sitting on a bunch of cash. We had a bunch of cash from wholesaling. And so we just started hiring like idiots. Like we're like, okay, what do companies need? We need an accounting department. So we hired this guy. We're like, you're going to be our head of accounting.
In a year.
It was terrible. And he wasn't even doing the job. And, on top of it, he was remote. So I think he was working like side jobs too. Big mistake. We probably paid him out we had him for 3 months. So 8, 16, 30, 24. Sorry. So we paid him a lot, didn't do our bookkeeping or anything. And the other area we messed up, which I'm actually having to backtrack online about this, because of the advice of the mentor we had, we were doing individual LLCs for every single property for liability management. That makes sense if you're buying like $1 million properties. Not when you're in Oklahoma buying sub $100,000 homes.
I didn't see you post about that.
And it was working for us for a while until Patrick Rigg, I don't know if you know him, PMR Properties, he's probably got about 2,000 houses.
Oh, wow.
I called him one day and I talked to him for about an hour, just telling him about all our problems with our rentals. Nothing, you know, raised an eyebrow from him, except for the fact when I told him our LLC structure, he's like, what the hell are you guys doing? Yeah. He's like, just get an umbrella policy. He's been doing it for 20 years, never had the problem of getting sued by 10 that insurance wouldn't cover it. So we're now switching away from that structure and gonna bundle maybe 20 houses into one LLC.
That's what my CPA said, like 4 to 6.
4 to 6, okay.
Like into like a series LLC.
Yeah, that's what
you have one entity that owns all of the series underneath.
Yeah.
It. So, but dude, who knows? Here's the other thing. Like, the worry there is, and I'm not a lawyer, so take neither of us are lawyers. We're just trying to figure it out. But piercing corporate veil is like super easy. Yeah. You know, you make one transfer from one entity to another, and it's like boom, you pierce the corporate veil. So it's like the whole goal is to not get sued, but So with the umbrella policy, what coverage did he say? Because I've got an umbrella policy, but it's only like
he didn't go into detail.
I have $5 million, I think.
Okay, he didn't go into detail. I have a insurance broker here, Jesse McDermott. He's fantastic. If you're in Oklahoma, but he's working on quoting up coverage. Yeah, I have no idea what we're looking at right now because we got to change all our. We literally have bank accounts for every house.
Oh my gosh.
It's terrible, but
that's why your books are going to cost so much. That makes sense.
But it makes sense it makes sense if you're each house if you're like doing big ass commercial or like really nice stuff in South Florida where it's like a few $1 million an address, but
these are 100,000.
Yeah, it's not worth it. And
the funding, my banker raised a flag whenever I told him I wanted to do series LLCs. Yeah, he raised a flag about the funding because he's like, it's different entities. You know? He's like, we're underwriting this entity, and all of a sudden you're bringing in this random entity. So
that's why DSCR works well for us because they just care about the property. And then what Patrick told me is like, I was like, who told you to do that? I was like, well, an attorney told us to do it like this. He's like, you asked an attorney for an attorney. You asked an attorney and he gave you an attorney solution. So like, just take the advice you get from an attorney or an accountant, you know, think about their perspective. Of course, the attorney is going to tell you the highest liability protection option,
but is it
regardless of the cost? It's not realistic. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Because every property you got to file every year. It's just became ridiculous. So that was a big mistake of ours that we're correcting.
Yeah. Well, dude, it happens. You know what I mean? And it's all fixable. That's
exactly. Yeah,
we've made our fair share of mistakes, and we're going through and fixing them. Dialing in. I mean, you've got to. When you're trying to scale quick and whatnot, it just happens. So,
but we're holding our breath for the bill from our accountant. We don't know what's going to be.
Our bill this week from Glenn.
They send you those billable hours, and then they're like, pay up. Does yours bill you for like a phone call, text, email, like everything?
It was a blanket bill. I don't know, but I have had attorneys bill us. It'd be like 0.2 hours responded to an email. I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah, it's frustrating. Right, you got to deal with it. But I'll show the rest of the remodel.
So 30 in rehab, 89 purchase. Conservatively 185.
185. Yeah, like say we're shooting for. Yeah, we told our DSCR lender, hey, we're aiming for 235, and we're hoping we get it. But same thing in here. Yeah, tile. We kept the toilet. Vanity from Amazon.
What's this rent for?
This place probably rent. We're gonna aim for
2 bedrooms.
1650. Nice. We're gonna aim for 16
because it's 4 bed.
Yeah. If we get a little bit lower, we're all right with that. We might push for Section 8. Nice. We go for Section 8 when we can. We don't specialize in it. But if we can get Section 8, we love it. They stay there for like a decade. Yeah, I think to get approved.
They stay a lot longer, and it's guaranteed.
Yeah. The same thing with this room. Real simple. But I mean, this is like maybe a day's worth of work. Mm-hmm. So that's why they got other stuff more urgent.
Yeah. Oh, it looks good.
I mean, a little bit of
just a simple, clean rehab.
Yeah, exactly.
I like this house. I would pick something up like this in the city all day long.
Yeah, what are you paying for a place like this in the city?
Like wholesalers, they would send this out. I don't know exactly what it looked like, but just based on the work that you've done, like 120, 130 all days. There's probably an investor that would buy it. Yeah. Dude, that's one of the problems with the city. Yeah. And I probably feed into that problem myself, but there's, like, I mentor people. Yeah. They know how to run their numbers. Right? Yeah. But then there's also a certain amount of investors that don't have mentorship. They don't know how to run their numbers.
And they will overpay.
And they're overpaying. And so, like, I watch these investors overpay, and I'm like, there's a bunch of new ones, you know? Yeah. So they may only overpay on one deal or 1 to 3 deals, but then there's new investors, and they're going to go overpay. And so, like, if the deal's getting blasted, it's very unlikely that I'm going to buy it unless it's an odd deal like mobile home on acreage, because I'm not scared to buy that. I will buy that one. Other investors don't want to touch that. But if it's inside the Oklahoma City metro, dude, there's just investors paying a lot, and there's just a lot of competition, which I'm not upset about.
Yeah, because it protects the value of your assets.
Yeah, exactly. It's just that I'm like, I say it all the time, the best investors are new, uneducated investors, because they're going to overpay more than anybody else is. You know what I mean? If they're not educated, unfortunately, you know. And so when you're selling a deal, like, but when you're trying to buy deals, it's like, oh, it's tough. So also I bet you also would get 120, 130 out of this, even with the 185 ARV, because they would say 15 at rehab.
Like, it's not. Well, then some investor would believe it. Well, but also think like as a full-time investor, you got to get steep discounts. But for the people who it's like their weekend thing, dude, that's retirement. I agree. It's real estate's so idiot-proof, in my opinion. You can overpay all your deals, but you're doing it for a decade, and 100%. You're not trying to live off of it. It's okay if you overpay, because we have an investor here she always overpays on our wholesale deals. And she kind of knows it, but she's like, this is my side hustle, and this is my retirement plan. So it's okay for her to overpay, but as a full-time investor, where you're like, this is how I keep the lights on, just pay my bills, and you deal with finding good deals all day, you invest time in it, you better be getting a good price for what you invest. And then in OKC, the other thing I think about is like, everybody has like the appreciation side, definitely much stronger, because everyone's like, OKC's growing, they're going to build the, what's that building, the really tall needle, whatever. And so there's a lot of like, there's almost like hype around OKC. It's like, okay, I know I'm overpaying, but like OKC's on the come up. Out here, people are like, even sellers know. They're like, it's Lawton.
And there's certain pockets, in OKC that people are just like, oh, we want that. But dude, Lawton's a lot like what I compare to Shawnee, Oklahoma. Which I'd say Lawton's probably nicer than Shawnee. But I cut my teeth in Shawnee, which are like rough, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 houses, but there aren't very many investors out there. So that was nice. So it's a constant battle, but I only need a couple deals a month, And
you're good.
How many of you guys bought this year?
This year's only been 3. Okay. We're slowing down because we want to do less deals, more stuff like this. Focus on title, focus on wholesale. Because we almost killed ourselves. Like how many we bought so quickly, and we had to correct selling off the worst stuff, and we've just been slowly buying better stuff. But the people we've been like, in our school community that have like cash and want to invest, well, we have to keep telling them, like, because a lot of these guys are like, man, I just want to buy real estate and retire. I want to go so quick. And like the best advice we've been giving these people is like, go slower. You'll actually feel the cash flow. You'll actually feel, the gains more than if you're trying to go really quickly. So if you go really fast, you'll feel super broke and you'll be really stressed. So we're trying to move slower on our investments, more time on our active income, title, and wholesale. But if you go slower in real estate, oddly, I think you feel wealthier.
For sure. When you're moving quick and you're just constantly reinvesting cash,
you feel broke all the time.
Last year, we did a ton of deals, and like I stayed around the same cash until finally I'd say August, I was like, all right, we're going to slow up for 90 days. And then everything closed, and I was like, boom, now I got a chunk of cash. All right, now we can go. And we've like consistently bought a couple deals a month, since then. But we slowed down a little bit too, because dude, June of last year, we had 19 projects on ground, just completely
burning cash.
It was like $3 million in vacant real estate. And it was, we were burning cash. Like my credit card bills, not including payroll, were 80, 90 grand a month. And I was like, I can't do this.
You can't sleep at night. It's terrible.
No, exactly. It's good to do a couple deals a month and just feel comfortable, feel good, and get your systems down. Because that's what's hard, is like keeping the systems up to date as you grow.
100%. Yeah, because if you are, like, if you don't wake up and stuff doesn't happen, like you say, you don't have a business. So we're trying to go slow, get really in the nitty gritty of our SOPs on how we do stuff. And actually with bringing in out-of-state investors and doing the remodels, it's almost like getting our team reps to get better on stuff that's not even ours. So it's not costing us cash. So we've been loving that. Bringing in investors that are kind of holding their hand has been, really, really good side income, and then also experience for all our boots.
You guys are like providing a turnkey service.
We're working on it. It's very early. We've only done it for like 4 or 5 people, just because like, friends of friend, people who know us. But we're trying to cautiously grow that, because if you got 10 people doing that, all of a sudden you work for 10 people.
There's a lot.
But yeah, it's an interesting model, because like if you already have the team built out for growing your stuff, and you slow down and you can handle more, like if you're trying to protect your cash, doing that turnkey model,
well, dude, the reality is, like you were talking about, somebody coming from out of state, even if they think they're overpaying for a deal, like they might be happy with 20, 30,000 in equity.
Exactly.
And a deal that cash flows. You know, even if it doesn't cash flow a ton, they can't get that in other markets.
Yeah, you take someone from New York, and they're like, you're getting 3-4% deals up in like, New York, and places like Florida, like people coming from those markets, anything over 6%, they're like, how is this possible? So
that's true.
Yeah.
No, that's badass. So what's the goal this year, like in terms of, so you want to grow your title company.
Yeah.
You want to grow the wholesale side and then just add rentals.
Yeah. I'll add rentals, but just quality stuff, like slow down. Like we want to grow slower, and we really just want the portfolio, like our personal assets, see how boring we can make it growing it. That's actually what our accountant told us, was like, how boring can we make this year? Get the rentals as boring as possible, and just scale title and wholesale more. And
well, dude,
turnkey a little bit.
There's like this fad in the real estate industry where people want to chase unit count. Like,
no,
need 100 units. And you said you were close to 80. And
we were close to 80, but we were broke.
Yeah, you just sold 17,
and our rent roll barely changed, and we bought a few more. But like chasing door count was like our big sin in the beginning.
Yeah,
we like buy deals we shouldn't be because we're just going after door count.
But it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like
it's an ego thing.
It's better have like 15 doors that don't make, or that you don't have any debt on, than 100 doors with debt, which I've got a ton of debt on my stuff too, but like in essence, like the door count doesn't matter. Dude, I threw this event a couple of weeks ago, and there was a guy that came up from Dallas, and he's like, I only own like 40 doors, but they're all Airbnbs, and he's kicking off like a lot of cash flow. Yeah. And like 2 of his doors are in New York City. They're brownstones in New York City. I'm like, bro, it's not about unit count.
Yeah.
Like, I might have 65 doors, but they don't net out the same. Exactly. About brownstones in New York City versus little houses.
100%. And sometimes those nicer places, it's the same amount of work, roughly, to get it remodeled and occupied and manage it. That was just something we realized with the commercial stuff. We realized that project, yes, it's a bigger project and it's more expensive, but it's not that much more than the residential stuff, and it's all in one place. So it kind of made us a bit more curious about commercial, because it's like roughly the same amount of stress as the residential, but like the upside and long-term stability of it is a lot better. So,
dude, what I've noticed about the commercial is just bigger swings.
Yeah,
this is
because less people want to.
But there's like less decisions to be made. They're just bigger decisions and just more holding costs, more all the way around.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you make 10 times the amount of money. You have 10 times the amount of risk, but you make 10 times the amount. The first deal we stabilized, we bought for $550. Appraised at 1.2 when we were all set.
Oh, that's amazing.
And so we got.
Is it flex space?
No, it's just industrial.
Okay.
Bought it for $550. It rents for $10,000 a month. Triple. So
it's amazing.
I don't even know what the cap rate is on it. But it's
commercial. You don't
commercial.
They're not gonna. There's like what, one toilet on the property, and it's, it's their responsibility.
Like 2 toilets, and it's triple nest to take care of taxes, insurance, maintenance. But it took us 14 months to stabilize. So we had the holding cost in between. But dude, commercial has been nice. I've been enjoying.
I think that's our exit strategy as far as like the residential stuff is just pivot more and more into commercial.
What's nice about the residential too is it's liquid. I consider it more liquid.
For sure.
So it's nice. Like if we've never gotten into a pinch, but if I ever did get into a pinch, like we can sell off a couple.
Exactly.
We could sell off a couple units, no big deal, to help fund
other stuff.
But like an industrial building's not as liquid.
No, not at all.
Or even an office building, anything like that. You don't have as big of a buyer pool. So. Well, dude, okay, so we checked this one out. You want to show us some more?
Yeah, we got another one. Let's go to our other one that actually is the other one we bought around the same time as this.
Okay, let's do it. All right, we'll catch you guys there. So I forgot to ask you.
This place.
On this deal here, are you guys sourcing all of your deals direct to seller, or do you guys buy any from wholesalers?
Direct to sellers, we maybe do 2 to 3 deals a year from wholesalers, and we'll do. I don't think we've ever bought a deal from a realtor.
Really?
Not once, never. Well, the commercial stuff. But it was still a pocket listing. No, we don't mess with deals from realtors. For the amount we spend on marketing, it almost would be like, it'd be a disservice.
What do you guys spend on marketing?
We spend $4,000 a month on cold callers, about an extra $1,000 then on an inbound team. We spend $6,000 a month on mail. At our peak, we were spending $8,000 a month on mail. We spend $2,000 to $4,000 on PPC, depending on the month. $2,800 a month on PPL, and then what else are we doing? SMA, about $1,500 a month, not very much. And then that about covers our marketing, mailing, calling, PPC. And then SEO, we actually paid a one-time fee of $30,000 to get a website built and 1 year of SEO services. And since then, our site's been ranked number 2, 3, 1 a few times for our market, and we get about a deal a month from that. And the inbound always converts way better than outbound. That's where we get our best spreads, is anything inbound from PPC, SEO, or mailing. A lot of people are skeptical on mailing these days, but you think about the most motivated sellers, a lot of times are older demographics and are people who already are getting their phones blown up by debt collectors, whoever. So mail a lot of times will be the only source of a marketing channel to actually reach those people. So it's very consistent for us. And that's our marketing. Then
what do you like the best?
What do we like the best? It depends on the month. Highest ROI, but least amount of consistency is calling. So dollar in, dollar out is going to be the highest over the year on calling, but it's the least predictable. Mailing's most consistent, lowest ROI. So we're only getting a 2.5 to 3x. Then PPC, probably anything PPC, PPL, or SEO is our favorite because it's the least amount of qualifying we have to do after the fact.
That makes sense.
That was a huge area of friction for us. Is when we started scaling, getting a lot of leads. Our main acquisitions guy, or Antonio, we had an acquisition manager for a little bit, didn't work out. So now we just got Antonio super leveraged up. The amount of follow-ups he'd have to do daily would be north of 200 to 300 phone calls. And these are follow-up leads of people who are I'm not quite ready because our CRM got so filled. So what we ended up doing was hire a follow-up specialist where all they do all day, follow up with old leads and qualify the leads from marketing channels there's less filtering. So then Antonio, when he's speaking to people on the phone, it is only the most motivated sellers. So he'll maybe make 20 phone calls in a day, but half of them convert, versus in the past he'd be making 300 phone calls to warm leads and get 10 convert. So he's just really leveraged now because we have a full-time follow-up specialist. All they do is follow up, and that's how we keep, without hiring a full-time acquisitions manager, just a follow-up specialist. And Antonio, he's super leveraged, and almost every 3 out of 5 phone calls, because it's only the best deals, best leads he's converting on.
Damn.
So that's our marketing.
He closes everything over the phone?
Everything over the phone. Sometimes,
that's impressive.
Sometimes we'll have to drive out, but not that often. Or sometimes because we'll send our GC to close the deal, or it helps a ton having an office for credibility, because then when they're I get 1 million of these phone calls a day, why should I trust you, etc. It's come have a coffee at the office, meet Candace, sign a contract, and it makes it's so much easier to convert people when you can literally tell them go drive by our office, because there's 1 million wholesalers calling from all over the country, doesn't matter the market, and that's one thing we're able to use to distinguish ourselves.
That makes sense.
Local presence is huge, and we're working on some local signage. We have an apartment complex we still own. The city approved us to put about, it's allowed to be about, I think, 9 to 20 feet height, pole billboard, and then signage, they approved up to I think 20 feet in width for apartments. Wow. So apartments, you're allowed to put your own signage. So we're getting a bid to put basically We Buy Houses with our faces on it. Because one thing with marketing is a term omni-presence we found. So individually calling, mailing, SEO, and SMA on their own, say each one gives you a 2.5x. When you start running multiple together, something happens as far as multiple, they see you multiple times. So each marketing channel does better because if they heard you on the radio, then they got a call, and then they got email, they'll convert. So that was a weird thing that we picked up on after doing multiple channels for an extended period of time. Is we've looked in our CRM and we see, oh wait, we texted this person and then they called in from a SMA ad, and then they got a letter, and when we look at the call log of them talking to one of our VAs, they actually reference those other points of contact. That's a synergy, 1 + 1 = 3 with the marketing. So I don't see a lot of people talking about it, but it happens. And if you start to have signage too, because then they hear you on the radio, they see you on Google, they see you on Facebook,
you're everywhere.
Yeah, you're everywhere in Silicon Vert. So a lot of people get tunnel vision on one channel, but like, yeah. So that's our marketing in our market. It's why going deep too is fantastic versus wide. So
for sure. Yeah, you guys are very niche down.
Yes.
Like this is the market. And you were just telling me, I didn't know this. You live in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. And you just travel down here, which you've got good systems in place. So you only come down twice a week to check the projects, make sure everything's running good.
Exactly.
That's badass. So what'd you guys pay for this?
$57,000.
Dang.
So it's 57 when we own, where is it? We own that house, the black and white house right there.
Nice.
And we are in contract to buy one back a street, and then we own another house a street over there. We really like it. If we can start picking up stuff on the same street that have, good appraisals, good rent, it's like way less risk
well, you know
the
your
next year.
numbers, too.
You know your numbers. And it's like, so we love, if we can start getting groupings of houses on the same streets, it's our favorite thing.
Same.
This place, we think, that place appraised for 125.
Nice.
This place we'll think will appraise about 135.
Nice.
We painted the exterior. This was the place with all the plants you commented about, all the plants inside of it.
Yeah.
My mom ended up taking those.
Dude, that's awesome.
And she brought them to the old folks home, and they loved it.
Oh, I bet they did. That's cool.
Yeah. So that's the exterior we painted. Cost us $500 in labor. Roof came new on it.
You paid $500 in labor to paint this exterior?
Yeah, it was like a 17-year-old kid. He did a great job.
Oh, that's what's up. There you go.
Yeah. So again, source local. Yeah, we just did a full exterior.
Dude, okay. One thing Alex mentioned before we were recording a little bit ago, we kept hearing these booms. It's like boom, boom at the last house we were at. I was like, is that lightning? Last night, you guys can tell it's really windy. We've had a lot of storms.
Yeah.
It's the artillery.
Yeah.
From the
Fort Sill.
From Fort Sill.
Yeah.
And I guess it's just like an all-day thing.
Yeah, they peak around like noon. They do a bunch of testing, but then sometimes they'll even be doing it like late in the evening. But it's like the largest artillery testing range in America. Every artillery since the Spanish War that's been used in an American war had to get tested here first.
Wow.
And so when we start getting more, involvement overseas, whatever, they start ramping up that testing. So you'll be hearing cracks all day. And like, I've heard from locals that sometimes they start testing like real crazy stuff. People a few times have had like windows break, but like that's very rare. We just get foundation issues on the older places because of the vibrations.
So what do you do about that? You just put piers in, I guess? Or?
Yeah, well, that's why we avoid slab foundations. Like as long as there's a crawl space, nothing foundation really scares us that much. We got a good guy for it. But like slabs, like we're a little scared. Slab foundation.
Makes sense. It just starts cracking up the slab.
Yeah, well, like
you can hear.
Yeah, you got to dig under, and it's a lot more complicated. It was like beam and pier. It doesn't scare us as much, but we've been pretty lucky with foundations. Our first few, we had foundation problems that cost us like north of $15,000, which that still is pretty decent apparently from what I've heard of other foundation problems. But then that combined with the cast iron plumbing with a slab foundation, it just gets messy. So this place though is good.
So you bought this for 57, 125.
We'll be all in under 20,000. We didn't have to buy flooring. We're just sanding, resealing the floors. Windows we're actually keeping. We could update to, the argon filled.
Yeah.
But, they're functional.
But you know your market and you don't need to.
Yeah,
right?
We don't need to.
For a rental?
Yeah, and it's got central heat and air.
I'm trying to go inside.
Yeah, let's see.
I know. I'm going to disturb them too much.
Yeah. Yeah,
these hardwood floors are going to be nice.
Yeah. Okay, cool deal.
Guys, can we come in real quick?
Yeah, we'll do.
Back there.
Yeah.
Right up.
Okay, we'll stay off that, but yeah, just sanding and resealing the floors, painted everything, and again, same thing. Like we bought in bulk all those lights off Amazon. The bathroom, new pecs, same exact tile as the other house.
What was it? Galvanized steel before?
I'm pretty sure.
I see that. Yeah, no, that looks good. Always good to update it now rather than.
Yeah, well, that was what we did.
Later.
A lot of our places early on, if it was working when we bought it, we just leave it.
Dude, I did the same thing.
And then we'd get work orders from tenants complaining about leaks, or even worse, they wouldn't complain, and then they'd move out. We found that they had a leak for just months, and then we have to replace a bunch of subflooring, all that stuff, and that was going on in here. We actually had there was leak it was leaking for a long time, but it was like under the tub. So the owner didn't see it. Then we rip out the tub and it was just completely rotted out. So we redid the subflooring, same tile as the other houses. And the size of the bathroom, we actually had to get like these smaller toilets. I don't know if you deal with that in OKC, but like the layout was really weird. So we ended up getting like these almost like not micro, but like reduced size toilets on Amazon just to make the bathroom a lot more usable. It never seen it before. It was our
into that.
Yeah, it was our GC's suggestion, and so we went with it. And it's actually got it's a 1.5 bath. In here we're gonna do LVP obviously because there's not hardwood. It'll rough it much.
They're probably in good shape.
Yeah, the cabinets were fun.
Cabinet door.
Same thing as the other place. This granite only cost us $1,400 material and labor. Not my favorite.
Yeah.
The speckle, it's a little, but
it's just a builder grade. Still granite.
Yeah.
That's what matters in these markets.
Yeah,
like
it's a box.
Points.
Yeah, they're checking. And then we were gonna rip out this, like it's like a fake tile.
Yeah.
We ended up just painting it. Yeah, it's fine.
This gets a higher appraisal for cash out.
That's what, our DSCR lender told us. Kitchens always do granite. You don't have to replace the cabinets, but make them look new. Then bathrooms, she said, always do tile, new vanities, and if you can, do glass shower doors, because that's what she's been finding across the country. Gets you better appraisals.
Interesting.
And so we've been trying to build our budgets around the kitchen, bathrooms first, and obviously essential systems. Before we would just be, focusing. We just neglect that stuff, and we'd neglect essential systems, and we'd end up just having to deal with it down the line once the tenant moved in. So now our budgets are always built around kitchen, bathrooms, essentials, and the rest. It's a little we get away with, not cutting corners, but
just doing less.
Yeah. So that's
what this gonna rent for.
This place, I would say, that place is rented for $1,300 with Section 8.
Nice.
We'll probably try to do the same here. I think because this place is technically. It's a 1.5, so we should be able to get a little bit more from Section 8.
Okay.
And that's the goal of Section 8. If we don't, then market rent, 12 to 1,300, nice. Depending on the side of town. We've been getting more with Section 8, so we're gonna try to go with that.
Yeah. So you guys stay. What is this? West side of town?
Yeah, this is right like the area like right behind the Home Depot, Starbucks, that kind of like retail area. Yeah. All of this area is pretty solid.
Pretty solid, yeah. And the brick homes.
Brick homes,
yeah. Good shape.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this one's got a 1-car garage, and then backyard-wise, just simple.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy happening, but it's in good shape.
Yeah, I mean, obviously got to clean up. HVAC system, we got lucky with. We're keeping.
It looks brand new almost.
Yeah, we get really good prices on HVAC because my mom had an HVAC company in Dallas, and so she knows all that. And she actually just got her license up here and a few other permits, and so we've been using her to source HVAC stuff. And if we ever have to get like a permit for HVAC, now we can do it ourselves. So that's that saves us some money. I think the last system we did for a 1,200 square foot house was $6,000 material and labor.
Yeah, that's really
brought up a guy from Dallas, so that's been good.
Yeah, because it was far from Dallas here, huh?
It's about 3 hours.
Okay, so it's about the same as OKC.
But that's where we get our granite from too. Yeah, this is pretty simple remodel. It's gonna be less than the other one. We're saving money on the floors.
Yeah, dude, it looks good. And you guys it seems like you guys are ripping through these projects because you know your systems and you guys use similar materials, which we do about the same as well. We do change ours a little bit depending on if we're doing a flip, what type of flip, if it's a higher end flip, stuff like that. But overall, I'm impressed with the operation you guys have done.
Thanks. It's improved a lot since hiring a GC, where their one job is always get cheaper price, always get cheaper labor, because you can only do so much when you're running multiple projects and you're trying to get deals. You're going to slip up on quality somewhere, so it's a little hard to make that first hire or spend the money on it. But the reality is, you'll pay for it eventually. So you're either going to be getting less deals, you're going to be working on the lower leverage stuff, and quality will go down. And that's what happened to us when we were still involved doing all the remodels. Stuff was taking longer, the quality was lower, and then we were having issues after the fact. But then when we fired ourselves from being super involved in every project, stuff starts getting done better, cheaper, and less work orders after the fact, because it's someone on our team who they know if the our property manager starts to get a bunch of work orders and issues and complaints from the tenant, they're going to be the first one that's going to have to jump in and figure all this stuff out. So they're incentivized to get it done right the first time. Whereas if you're just bidding out the job to, a contractor, they just, a lot of times, depending on your relationship, they just want to get the job done. They don't really care if you have problems after the fact. They got paid. Yeah. So that's what screwed us on a lot of our houses. We did a bundle of 8 houses, used the same contractor on all of them. He just wanted to get the job done. He cut a lot of corners, moved in the tenants to all 8 of those houses, and then there was like a 2-month streak of just ridiculous work orders, problem, having to go back and correct stuff, tenants moving out because they were pissed off about the quality of the place, and the contractor, he didn't care. He got paid, and he's moving on to the next job.
We've had it happen too.
Yeah.
When you're moving quick too, and you don't check certain things, and the contractor missed them, and then you get a tenant moving in, it's like, shit show day one is like, oh, and you just set up a bad relationship too.
Exactly.
With the tenant, because now, they're like, I mean, typically you're signing a year lease, and it's like, all of a sudden we pissed them off on day one. It's like, great. So before we jump, you said you were open to sharing some of the numbers. What does cash flow look like on a portfolio your size? So
we had a lot of bleeding, to say the least, through the winter, because we switched property managers going into the winter. The winter's when you get the least amount of movement, and so we're going into the winter at about 65% occupancy.
Damn.
And then we had a lot of work orders through the winter. So I would say between between November till January, we would be collecting between $30,000 and $38,000 a month.
Nice.
At 60% occupancy, and then off of that, we were having about half of that go to work orders. And our monthly mortgages, though, luckily, were still low. We're roughly $10,000 a month in mortgages.
Oh, okay, nice.
So I honestly consider those 3 months cash flow zero. I don't think we cash flowed at all. But we have started to recover going into.
It's not bad. Like, to not lose money as 65% occupancy is really impressive.
And again, exactly. So that's why we're okay. We buy everything off market. And another thing is, I think a lot of real estate investors, they get into real estate for 1, 2, 3 years, and they start having like this emotional expectation for their portfolio to pay them every month and have cash flow, and they neglect to keep increasing their actively earned income. So for us, we are okay with not getting paid a penny from our portfolio. And we focus on paying ourselves from actively earned income, because it's just how it goes when you're growing a portfolio. And what I've seen are the investors who try to cash out too early and think that they're going to retire off their portfolio after growing it for 3 or 5 years. They get burnt, because then if they have a winter where they're cash flowing zero, they can't pay their bills, and they don't have an active W-2 or something like that. So, but now we have recovered a lot. So for January, we collected $30,000, and after expenses, we had a pipe burst at the apartments of ours. Cost us, it just trashed 3 units. We caused some tenants to move out, and we had a heater we had to replace. We were left after expenses with $15,000. Our mortgages for that month was $10,000. It was about $9,600. And then for February, so we refinanced in February, a portfolio loan of 5 houses. So now our monthly mortgage expense is about $15,000 every month. But we collected $37,000 after expenses, property manager commission, repairs, work orders, any utilities. We were left with $20,776. $15,000 went to the mortgages.
So still like $6,000 roughly.
But the places we bought with that refi that increased our monthly mortgage to our mortgage expense to $15,000 have not been occupied yet. So once those get filled, we're anticipating March should be about $40,000 in rent roll, and then if we get the office filled, about $45,000. And then I think we're sitting pretty comfy at that. And so one thing with work orders, if you're not auditing your property manager's work orders line by line, and calling them out for it, there's a strong chance for it to creep, because you think about the property manager's perspective, they get paid off of rent collected, and if they're getting overwhelmed with tenants calling them having issues, if they are not a great property manager, they will by default send people out just to make their phone stop ringing, because there's certain things that they should address, and there's certain things that the property manager should not address.
And should be stern on.
We've had a bad property manager that did exactly that, where they just wanted their phone to stop ringing. They'd send people out anytime someone complained, fixing stuff that you're not responsible for as a landlord. So the work order creep, they're not incentivized to keep it down. But starting in January, we really started to audit the work orders and get more involved in that to keep it down. And now every Wednesday, that's why I'm in Lawton every Wednesday, we have a meeting with our property manager, go through the work orders, find ways to cut expenses, and we're sitting a lot better on our cash flow now. So,
heck yeah, dude. Yeah. Well, the reality is too, like, it's fun to be running and gunning and just doing deals, but the more boring the business, the better. From what 100%. I have figured out, and like my business, I feel like it's gotten pretty boring. We have our Tuesday meetings, we have our Friday check-ins, we have like every day of the week we have some sort of thing going on. Okay, I got to call Logan and it's honestly is boring sometimes. I'm sure Logan would agree that it gets boring too, but it's good because it's not like I'm not running off of adrenaline. At one point in my business, I'm running off of adrenaline. New deal. But then you neglect shit, you know, like the work orders, or you're like, we won't worry about it. Look at all this. We're about to close a refi. We're about to make 60 snowballs. We're about to close a flip. Yeah, it does snowball. So, bro, thanks for being transparent because a lot of people are not willing to be transparent online. You know what I mean? And like shit happens when you buy other properties. You're gonna have pipes burst. You're gonna have stuff like that happen. But I still believe real estate is the #1 wealth builder. And same thing, we don't live off our cash flow either. Nope. You know, it's like you get the depreciation, you get the appreciation, you get the cash flow, the principal, the
debt deflation.
Yeah, and like the cash flow is just one thing to look at. I think it is glorified that you can go buy 10 rentals and live off of the income. Like it's just not realistic nowadays, you know. But I think that we'll be sitting very pretty in 15 or 20 years. You know, if we continue at this pace, we continue paying properties off, you know. And so, anyways, with that being said, bro, thank you. This has been super fun. You've got a school community. You've got an Instagram.
Yes.
How can people find you?
On Instagram, Alex Visloski, or on YouTube, Alex Visloski, TikTok, Alex Visloski. Free school community. We go live every Wednesday. We have a deal room, deal review room. Send the deals you got. We'll show some deals we got. And every Wednesday, jump on, ask whatever questions you got. Show us your deals. And both myself and my partner are on there. We're really involved in it. And we're at about 280 members right now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And actually, this week we got four investors from that community, the free community, are buying their first deals. So
that's awesome.
Join up. Yeah.
We'll tag that below. We'll tag your Instagram as well. And hopefully this added a little bit of value. Thank you again, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.
Catch you guys later.